looks like we are in draft now. We're just waiting for No Name to take their first picks on the ban.
Twine versus Unfinished.
Twine. There you go.
Very good. Immediate Soraka ban. Is
I
University of North Florida someone that uses Soraka a lot?
I wouldn't say that I've seen them use Soraka a lot, but knowing their supports, they could easily run with Soraka and steamroll anyway.
Hmm. It's an interesting first ban for me because it either expresses a desire to play a certain style of bot lane, or it's trying to target ban of Volibear's second ban is not what I'm expecting. Honestly, the bans today have been like all over the place. Throw a dart at the dartboard and that's who they'll ban.
Yeah,
So
we also have Pantheon going down on the from the side of UNF. Very very solid pick, honestly. Particularly with Pantheon's ganking potential in the jungle, his power in mid lane and top lane. Realistically, he can go anywhere, so having Pantheon out is generally a good ban.
right.
Looks like they are sort of target banning the jungle, though. Knowing Mike Beeston's strategy, he likes to target ban particular players that he scouts out.
And that makes sense. Being able to pinch out a certain person to get them on the back foot is a very good way to try to push a specific objective out. We see this with UNF very often, where they have an idea and they're able to execute towards it. Team with No Name is a little puzzling to me because they seem to be all over the place. Locking and Seraphine, very strong support, possible mid laner. That is I don't dislike it. It's just a very kind of different way of drafting so far that we've seen.
Yeah, and I've even seen Seraphine be played against me top lane,
Yeah,
and it was brutal, honestly. Like you don't know what to do against it because first of all, it's a non-common matchup, but it you honestly it's like fighting a mid laner in the top lane.
100%. And it has all of the weaknesses and the prowesses of that. No different than taking like a zero top lane or something like
Yeah.
that. Um, Oriana Nocturne, I'm pretty sure this is a UNF staple. To be able to get that combo this early.
Hmm.
Okay, is this the debut of Fizz in PLC?
It very well could be, and it looks like it is. They've locked that in, particularly uh, like having not seen Fizz before, but he is a very, very good champion against Oriana and Nocturne. As
Yes,
Nocturne dives in, Fizz just hops on his troll pole and jumps away. It doesn't matter if
I
Oriana's there to support or not.
I love this. Oh my goodness. Did UNF pick the most wombo combo? We're going to double ult you and knock you up. And then they pick two of the champions that say, nah,
They just
I'm going to push
easily
one
counter
button.
the whole thing. And
Super interesting.
but that could be to their detriment. If you're picking counter picks on champions that you're not entirely proficient with.
Right. Part of the reason, like, I love when people know what the other team is going to pick. If Oriana Nocturne is something that they pick all the time and they're going to pick against it, you can pick hard counters into that kind of play style,
Mhm.
into having such super safe Fizz Zaya gameplay. Like we have Melio who's able to kind of negate some of Seraphine's, roots and the
Mhm.
ulti and all that good stuff, but it's not going to solve the danger that Oriana is in right now from the Fizz and not be able to be, because if Oriana was just a ult machine, if she just
Mhm.
ulted and then immediately died, she'd be effective. Like she'd
Yeah.
be doing a lot of damage and a lot of CC, but now she's not going to be able to do that. At most, she might catch three people, but if they're fast enough, then Fizz and Zaya can react on a relatively low cooldown.
And it looks like we do have the top laners getting banned now at this point with Aatrox and Zac. Zac being more of a
Interesting.
jungler than a top laner. Um, but you ban out the positions that are open. Caitlyn being banned as well from a team with no name. Caitlyn and Lucian, particularly good champions that pair well with Milio, but looks like Yunara is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with here. Uh,
Yes.
Especially her synergy with Milio, just getting that little bit of extra range so her Q can do a little bit more damage with, and just having that safety net there
Yeah.
uh, to be able to kite people away.
And I like that she should be safe enough with Melio to not get instantly blown up by Fizz or something like that.
Hmm.
I think Yunar is a very good pick. We do have the Dr. Mundo being locked in, a relatively safe pick against another blind pick. Now, it is interesting to me that there are things that can counter Mundo, but I don't think that they're necessarily worried about that at this point. They have a very strong team comp. There's so many things that fit with what they have already. They just need a
Hmm.
jungler to kind of round it out. And honestly, like the world's their oyster. J4, yeah, absolutely.
J4, one of the strongest junglers currently, or at least one of the deadliest junglers currently. I've seen some statistics lately that J4, on average, has 4 kills per death in the jungle.
Yeah,
That's
it's
global average.
right, right. Now he didn't show very well in the pro tourney, but that we're not necessarily in a pro tourney right now.
Mhm.
Warwick selected on the other side. Now, as a puppy lover myself, I do like Warwick, but he's traditionally not someone that we see in these kind of tournament settings just because he's a little more, I don't want to say predictable, but like inflexible. But against the Mundo, I like it because he can be sticky. He
Mhm.
can sustain himself in these really long fights. He's got to be careful with the deadliness of J4, like you were talking about just a minute ago. But not a bad pick, not a bad pick at all. I do want to
And
highlight something that chat said real
yeah,
fast of that this is not the first Fizz game that he has played this tournament. So this is maybe not necessarily a comfort pick, but it's a pick that he's familiar with.
okay, so first Fizz that we've had on stream for sure.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but not the first Fizz that he's played in this tourney is
Yeah.
very interesting to me. I wonder if this is something that UNF could have prepared for. You know, locking in Oriana and Nocturne immediately might have been too committal into someone who's played Fizz earlier this tournament.
Although
So,
if you're comfortable playing against Fizz as Oriana, you can easily predict or bait his
troll pull.
immunities and be able to play around that.
Yeah, I just feel like the stereotype, you know, we're getting into
Mhm.
generalities here, but Nocturne ults as Nocturne is ulting, Oriana snaps the ball in and then ulties. You can't do that like you can do with an Ari. Like Ari can't do anything to that. Fizz, yeah. It just means that you have to
Mhm.
play more careful. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think the reason why Fizz is strong is not necessarily because he counters Oriana, which he does, but I also just don't think that Nocturne does much to stop Fizz if he starts getting out of control. So,
That is true. So they'll have to play very carefully this game, and if they can do that, they can certainly pull this off. One of the biggest things that they'll need to watch out for is Fizz with his jumping and his hyper mobility. They have to watch out for Zaya. Make sure that if they're going to all in on her, that she doesn't have her ult at the time. And so be very careful with the all-ins. And it's one thing that Nocturne does a lot. That's pretty much all Nocturne can do is he goes all in or nothing.
right,
And like if you're just playing the poke game with Nocturne, you're gonna find yourself out of mana in about 10 seconds.
100%. Yeah.
So
So now that we've seen all the champions as they go through in the client and they repick their champions, are you going to give it with the familiar team that we have, or do you think that team with a no name has enough of a niche pick to counter their strategy?
I'd say that Team with No Name has a very strong uh, team in general. One thing that I will side with University of North Florida on is their top lane.
Mm,
Warwick is an extremely strong pick against Mundo. He's got that percent hit point damage. He's got increased attack speed the lower your hit points are. So everything in his kit is anti Mundo. All he has
sure.
to do is build a tiny bit of anti heal and he wins that fight. Mundo, he might build a Thorn Mail, but it's not going to be very useful against the rest of their team. So it might be a, you know, one item to one champion kind of thing. And
Yeah.
honestly, Thorn Mail is less of a meta pick on Mundo anyway.
And
Typically,
I
you
don't,
just want to build as much hit points as possible and run at them
frankly,
with the
frank,
overlords.
100%. Frankly, I don't think Mundo should be building a Thorn Mail early. I don't think
Mhm.
Mundo's goal is to be killing Warwick early in the game because I think if Mundo goes 0-0 at 10 minutes, he's won. That
Yeah.
he's going to be so much more of a presence. The thing about Warwick is that he is such a steep cliff of effectiveness. They over the time they've made it so that Warwick doesn't jump off such a harsh cliff when you hit the mid game. But he like Mundo's going to be able to resist some of the CC that Warwick needs to close him out. I think Mundo just wants to not die, and as long as he doesn't die, he'll win that lane. So a lot
Mhm.
of pressure for Warwick to try to be relevant in that top lane. I don't think it's a bad pick. I just don't think that it's going to be such a closeout. So me personally, I think I'm giving it to Team with No Name.
And I'm there myself in terms of general team comp. I would give it to Team with No Name. They have a lot of that hyper mobility from Fizz and J4 and Zaya. They're all very mobile champions. And then, but on the side of University of North Florida, you have Warwick, who can easily roam down to mid lane between waves, pick up a kill, and go back top lane. Mundo hasn't died yet, but he's still picking up kills.
He roams mid lane to gank the Fizz. I don't think necessarily Warwick like Warwick is not the worst ganker on Fizz in a lot of Warwick games, but he's not a shutout, right?
Yeah,
Like if Fizz is pushed up really far, then he might be able to do something. But that's the kind of thing where like if Warwick disappears off the map, then Fizz just walks back into the middle of the lane and then he should be fine.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm not seeing it, but yeah.
It, Warwick does have a lot of mobility. Yunara has a lot of damage. I'm going to be expecting Yunara, the bot lane, to be strong sided on on the side of University of North Florida. I'm expecting more of a relatively even roam from J4, probably camping mid most likely, just to keep that Fizz up, if not fed.
Right. Totally, totally. I really think that Fizz here is the kind of like the lock pick against University of North Florida, and maybe if they have enough discipline and focus against Fizz, because Fizz is known as a noob killer. Like there's just so many things that Fizz can do to, but if they can properly space him, if they can make sure that they don't die to his damage, especially early, then they'll have a strong a strong case to win the game. However, I think that they are definitely going to be fighting an uphill battle in order to win this game.
Yes, and uphill battles are what we like to see. If it can be pulled off, and it has been before, we've
Hmm?
seen it happen. It is always entertaining to watch, and chat can confirm that. Yes, we've seen several of those games where the underdog manages to pull through just before the end of the game. Typically it's been like Team Unknown doing that. Honestly,
So
so
true.
a few previous finals, Team Unknown had just been down for the first half of the game and came back strong and won the game. But if University of North Florida can play smart and make sure that they're keeping up against their lane opponents, this should be a win for them. They're going to have to be very careful about this, though. or it can easily snowball against them.
100%, 100%. I love that you bring up Team Unknown in the chat. You know, Server Panda, TU never gives up and all that. I saw Kodo Draco in the chat earlier, um, talking about how Team Unknown hasn't given up any kills so far this tourney, which is pretty crazy. They're not playing this tourney, which is why. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think this is going to be a game of discipline, especially with Team with No Name has the like Mundo and Fizz are such champions that have a lot of expressiveness and are usually hated by the community because they're so strong against people who don't know what they're doing. But this isn't where we're at. This is a college team. The university is in the name. They're this way, not this way.
Yeah.
And I think that they'll be able to hold their own as long as they can hold their own.
Yeah. And honestly, if they can hold their own, go have proper team fights. Make sure that they're either baiting out certain mechanics beforehand or trying to get proper picks. If they can get a proper pick against probably against Zaya or against Seraphine, if they can get picks against either of those two or J4,
Hmm.
any of those three, I would say they can easily win a team fight. Fizz might take out one of them, but he's very bursty. He goes in, he goes out, and he leaves. He's not
Right.
going to stay and fight like Mundo is. And so there's a lot of potential either way, honestly. So Fizz jumps in, jumps out. Mundo sustains the team fight, and Fizz resets and goes back in. I could see that happening in here.
Totally. And it's kind of fun to see a Fizz so soon after seeing a LeBlanc. You know, we haven't really we're seeing assassins in our games all of a sudden, which
Yeah.
is kind of wild to think about.
Meanwhile, we've
But
got 2 in this game.
yeah, just to confirm to chat, this is in fact round 3 of the Swiss stage of our PLC tournament, November 2025. We are just loading into the game now, waiting for the server delay or the stream delay. I forget what it's spectator delay to finish through, and we will be into round 3.
All right. And, that should be over now. We're just waiting to enter the game. We're pretty much in loading screen right now.
Yep, just waiting for that to go. But real excited about this team. Did not ask chat yet. Who are you giving it to? Are you giving it to the Team with No Name? Or are you giving it to the University of North Florida? Billy, did you say who you're going for?
I would say Team with No Name is who I was saying is likely to win this.
Sure.
Especially given their performance last game against Pandemonium.
Okay.
Very long game that they played, but they did end up winning that game.
You don't think the fatigue has set in?
Yes. So the fatigue had set in. They managed to outlast them, although they could still be tired. And UNF has had a little bit of a longer break than they have. So it could be in UNF's favor, but I'm still going to be on the side of Team with No Name, given their performance against Pandemonium.
Sure. I can see that. I can absolutely see that. Still waiting on the game to start itself, but I think we'll be into it so far. Actually seeing kind of a spread, a lot of Team with No Name hype in the chat right now. I believe Kodo Draco that Team with No Name is a brand new
yes, they are a brand new team as far as I'm aware as well.
Had some weirdness in the stream so far, but no big deal. We're into the round so far. It does look like we lost the first blood. J4 able to take it from Orianna just moments ago.
Yes, and Warwick having roamed down to try and prevent that from happening. But as there are wards in the top lane, he's not able to do a whole lot in terms of roam right now. We do have a lot of trading going on in bot lane, as well as top lane here. Mundo holding up against Warwick a level ahead right now, and playing quite well.
Absolutely, and we're on the animal theme for the stream today. We have Mega Awesome Pig in the top lane, uh, but we'll wait for that. Warwick instantly going in on this Mundo, who is low health. Warwick is going to be able to hover at that half health mark and going to be able to engage whenever he wants.
And looks like we do have Nocturne hovering bot lane as well as J4. They're both kind of sitting there observing and recalling.
Yeah, right on the ward though. So J4 is just daring Nocturne to do something dumb, and something dumb Nocturne does not do. Going to be moving into this part of the game. We're not seeing a lot of heavy engage on the bot side, so we're not going to see much more than just some pokes here or there, which is what we see, but not necessarily enough to engage or overcommit with yet. Always nice to see some poke back and forth.
Yep, and a lot of poking, not a whole lot of action since the very beginning of this game that we saw.
Yeah, and I think that's to be expected. I think they picked two very safe laners with Saya and Fizz. But the question is what Fizz is going to be doing with now his very slight lead.
Yes, and well, Fizz, even with a slight lead, can easily snowball, and
Right.
especially against if you're a high elo player versus a mid elo, or even in high elo, Fizz can easily snowball off of a single kill.
100%. I think Jack Frost is really feeling the pressure to be able to perform well there. Are seeing just the poke back and forth. It's actually kind of interesting that Seraphine is having as much struggle as she is in that support role. I'm personally not someone who loves Seraphine as a support. I think she has so much more potential as a mage, and they keep making changes to make her a better support because people insist on playing her as support, and I just don't see it as much. I think she's a better bot laner than she is a support, but what do I know?
And we do have that missing notification from Fizz against Orianna, signaling that there's a possible gank in the bot lane here. Looks like it may come to fruition, but there's not a whole lot happening just yet from it.
Now, Orianna roaming that far down on her own is losing a lot of time in the lane, so it does look like Fizz is probably going to be able to pick up a one plate, maybe even two. It does look like the dragon is going to go for the side of Nocturne. Really haven't seen J4 participate in anything so far yet. But
Other than, of course, that initial kill.
Right. I guess we just didn't get to see it. Oh well.
Yeah, we came in right as it happened. So first dragon does go over to UNF. Orianna having helped to leash the dragon, and then bot lane as soon as it was clear with Tanai Nalo. I'm just gonna call them Tan.
Yep.
And Amp Dragon.
Yeah, definitely
So-
not making it easy for us casters, us poor casters trying to pronounce our names. But here we are nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm not bad with the Vietnamese names, but it does take me a minute.
I'm bad at the Vietnamese names. I'll admit that. That is not a language I've studied. Huge cleaver getting hit right there. As much as like Warwick is commanding the lane, he is taking a ton of damage for just trying to farm. Unfortunately, Warwick does not care if he gets poked down. He can just heal back up as long as he can touch the wave.
Yeah, and Warwick is catching up to Mundo, so Mundo's not necessarily playing ahead anymore.
Wait.
But we do have a potential gank here in the mid lane. J4 hovering against the Orion, against Jack Frost there. But going back into his jungle, is if he delays any further, he's going to mess up his tempo.
Now, not seeing too much. It's interesting to have look at the amount of vision that is on the top side of the jungle. When grubs spawn, but no one is really reacting to it because they're confident in their vision placement. And it does look like they're going to start it. Nocturne immediately reacting to try to move up that way. It might be too little too late unless he's level 6, which he is. So, let's see about that.
First grub going down against Fizz. We have Mundo to support on that. Looks like they are not going to be able to pick up grubs They don't want to risk going in 1 or 2v3 right there.
100%. So Grubs will go down. Nocturne able to steal a couple jungle camps, and we're watching a lot of this bot lane because there's a lot of fighting.
Amber
but
Dragon taking a lot of hits. Tanai taking as well several hits from Kula. Nocturne ulting in onto Socratic and takes the kill. Able to get away with the help of Amber Dragon after diving the turret. And Amber Dragon also keeping Seraphine away to prevent any follow-up, securing the first kill for UNF.
And that will be, you know, relatively late. Fizz just doing a casual ulti right there. Gonna hit him with a lot of damage. Unfortunately, turrets also do a lot of damage. This is just gonna be one of those games where we're gonna see a lot of slugging back and forth. Top lane is gonna have a lot of regen. Mundo just does not care about minions. He's got the regen there. Warwick's got the regen.
Even more damage against Jack Frost with that Fizz. It's gonna start to hurt here in a minute, especially as Fizz is almost. No, he's got his Dark Seal and about half an item. Jack Frost taking even more damage, but Amber Dragon is here to support. J4 going in and securing the kill with his ult. Dark Strike X securing yet another kill against Orianna.
Yeah, that was a really gutsy of the Fizz to try to be able to go in as he did there. I honestly didn't think it would pay off the way it did, but J4 was able to come in and clear things up, no problem. And Orianna, who's already in a tough spot, is finding himself in a worse and worse spot. Not quite enough to finish the Lich Bane, but here we are. Pretty rough scenario for Fizz.
Yeah, a couple more waves and Fizz can easily have that Lich Bane.
Yeah, he's pretty close. Like 1,000 gold lead already, only 10 minutes into this game, and we are kind of in a tough spot. I'm really interested to see how Nocturne reacts because he was able to pick up that kill earlier in the game, but it really does feel like he's gonna kind of struggle to be the terror that he normally is. I also want to bring up, look at this Mundo's build. I love this, man. Mundo has lots of
belts. And a shield.
And a shield. I've seen the all Ruby Crystal build before. I have not seen 3 Giants belts.
I think Giants belts starts out with all Ruby Crystals.
Exactly.
You go all Ruby Crystals into all belts, and then you just build those belts into items.
100%.
We've got Mike Beeston coming in with another Paranoia, barely getting away, with Xayah barely getting away after that. Mundo coming in on Jack Frost with the Cleaver, running in. Mundo, of course, going where he pleases. Nick coming in to support that, following up on the top lane. Mike Beeston securing the kill on Mundo as the rest of the team runs away, threatening that J4 as to keep him out of the fight, as it would be then a 3v5. So that is, at the end of that fight, it just secured and ran away.
Mike Beeston should be able to solo this dragon, no big deal, but the amount of damage, a full turret that Fizz has been able to pressure just because every single time Orianna roams, Fizz has stayed and just wailed on that turret. That is not only a lot of gold in the pocket of Fizz because of that, but that's another point towards feats.
Yes. The only thing that's missing for feats on Team with No Name is another kill. They just need one more to secure their empowered boots,
right?
And they're in a position to be able to use them quite well.
Meanwhile, UNF needs not only another kill, but also the next epic monster. So, like, can they prevent someone from dying in 2 minutes so that they can get that next thing? I mean, obviously, if they get a kill, then they take it themselves. But the pressure is on right now.
Jarvan ulting in onto Jack Frost, followed up by Myope on Fizz to secure the kill. Feats of strength secured for Team with No Name.
And see, this is what I am no Fizz lover. I hate playing against Fizz, but I'm so surprised that we have so many control mages in our repertoire when they have like such, I'm not saying that this should be picked every game, but we see a lot of Orianas in our game, and they're matched by like plays or people that go even instead of like power plays or whatnot. Like I know our mid laners are very strong, but it's crazy to me that we're not playing two weaknesses or whatnot. So well done by Team with No Name to be able to not only pick someone who's very good into Orianna, but also pilot them very well.
And yeah, I will also highlight that combo between J4 and Fizz. Just the ultimate combo, being able to lock somebody in place so Fizz can easily get a max range ult and come in and snipe them.
Right. And like, let's look at the cooldown. Like, Fizz just killed Orianna not too long ago. It's up in 4 seconds, and he's gonna need it because he's in a world of pain that does not go to anything.
Yeah, it looks like we do have UNF pressuring to get a gank on Fizz there, but they're realizing that J4 is also doing the same thing for bot lane against a solo Tanai. J4 ulting in onto Amber Dragon. Amber Dragon has no flash, unable to get away. Fizz ult chomps up and he secures the kill. J4 secures the kill with his spear, and that is 4-2.
Yeah, it seems like
Team with No Name.
Fizz is doing more than chunking the waters and giving all that. Oh no! We'll say that was intentional.
Yeah, you can't ult Mundo with Warwick. It doesn't work unless you have somebody else on your team who can apply some hard crowd control to him first. You're not going to be able to hit him with it. You'll go right through, just like we saw, and
oh no!
It's a good escape tool, that's for sure.
If he had landed, it would have stopped him where he was. Just wouldn't have had the CC. But also Warwick has the fear aspect of it, so he's able to pop that passive. But regardless, that was a full whiff on the Warwick ult and sending him flying, and totally throwing me off of what I was saying.
It happens, even to the worst of us.
Yeah. Every single Warwick main out there knows the pain of just how finicky that ult is.
Mike Beeston ulting in with Paranoia onto Kula, gets rooted and spell shields the ultimate from Kula. We have Jack Frost ulting Soulcratic and J4, securing the kill onto Soulcratic. Mike Beeston almost getting away, but gets pinned down by that flag and drag. Amber Dragon pushing Jarvan away, but Tan Eye goes down as they are locked in those walls. Jack Frost is the next target. J4 splitting between Amber Dragon and Jack Frost. Amber Dragon able to flash away. MyPoB and J4 being able to flag and drag onto Jack Frost with MyPoB flashing and dashing onto Jack Frost to secure the kill. Nick coming in with the ultimate from left field and securing that kill onto Fizz, getting the shutdown gold and securing a further lead against Mundo, hoping that it does something against this late game.
That's so tragic because Fizz used his W to get closer to the minion wave, and if he had just held on to that with the threat of Warwick being nearby, then he could have just pushed W and Warwick would have flown right through him. Might not have saved him, but it is very tragic that he decided to use the W that early. So the shutdown does go to the Warwick, who is enjoying a fair amount of cash in his pocket at this point to try to make Mundo's life hard. Now Mundo did just finish the Warmogs. I don't know if that's enough health for him to proc the Warmogs. I think it is.
With Warmogs, you only need, I think, 350 additional health. So a single Giant's Belt is enough to have Warmogs effective.
Then he should be able to stay in lane forever, but it looks like Fizz is just going to be taking more towers.
We have Mike Beeston ulting in onto Kula once again, being saved from the spell shield. Jarvan is able to put down his ult, dies to the pressure there, as well as Warwick. Jack Frost is taking a lot of damage, gets eaten by Fizz's Chum the Waters. Tan Eyes the next to go down. Mike Beeston and Aberdragon are able to get away from the fight, but that is 2 for 3. 2 for 3 on the side of Team with No Name.
Yeah, very, very well played. It looks like Team with No Name is starting to pull ahead with their advantage here. Going in to the 20-minute mark. We do have Drake up. I think that Mundo is starting it right now. I
Mundo
love that.
Easily can solo that Drake.
Yeah, even as a top laner of all things, like, it's just what Mundo does. Mundo gets to go where he pleases. More turrets are going to be going down for the side of UNF. I love that Fizz has been side laning, and like it feels like he's been side laning in the mid lane this entire game, but now he's effectively in the top lane, and here we are.
Yeah, he's going to get those turrets where he can. That was actually 2 turrets that went down just now. So all of UNF's tier 1 turrets are down. There's a turret mid lane from Team with No Name that is down. That having been due to the Herald that Warwick placed in mid lane after securing the kill onto Fizz.
Right. It's pretty, like, this is a really rough situation to be in if you're at UNF. Like, it wasn't very favored for them early, but now that the gold lead is starting to spread further and further, the options that they have to win the game are lowering down. Now, one option they have is Otacon, but they are not taking it fast enough for Twine not to be able to respond, and it does look like they need to back up, especially with their armor and magic resist shredded as much as it is. Otacon with an incredibly long aggro range is still wailing on them, preventing anything from really going on, but it does look like they might be pushing
we do
forward.
have a pincer coming in. Looks like we're setting up for another team fight. Mike Beeston hitting the paranoia early, jumps in onto MyPoB, almost able to get away, but gets flagged and dragged and ulted. Nick, the next to go down, followed by Tan Eye, Jack Frost being secured by MyPoB, and that is 4 for 0.
Incredible.
Team with No Name.
Team with No Name has just had a commanding presence this game. You know, I think some of it is due to the champions, but I also just think that they're like patient. They're noticing mistakes that UNF is taking and then capitalizing on them. Because like, in what world does UNF get the Otacon other than Team with No Name like completely like falling asleep at the wheel? So I think it's okay to stance up around Otacon, but to start it was very ambitious.
Yeah, if they were to fight Team with No Name while they were underneath Otacon, while Team with No Name was underneath Otacon, it would have been much more favorable for them.
Certainly. Yeah, but what's happened has happened, and we're in the game right now. At this point, the only person who is negative on the side of Team with No Name is in fact Xayah, who still has a gold advantage over their lane partner just because of, you know, dying less. Turns out dying
Also,
pretty bad.
You know, those team fights do provide a lot of kills for the assists,
Right.
or a lot of gold from the assists.
100%. And we're in a situation where it's like, what options does UNF still have left on the table? You know, we got a cheeky Warwick right there who's trying to start something, but unfortunately, I don't know if Blade of the Ring King is enough to stop a Mundo that's this far fed, especially with Heartsteel.
And especially with the rest of Team with No Name collapsing on Nick there. He's able to ult away, but goes down due to the flag and dragon, the root from Socratic. Yeah, Mega Awesome Pig just continuing his assault on that top lane. Looks like we are going to have UNF responding to that, or they're going to lose not just a tier 2 turret, but an inhibitor turret too.
Yeah, I think this is just the slow bleed that we're going to see for the rest of the game. I think Team with No Name is going to get a slight advantage. They're going to push it. They're going to back off. And they're going to do it over and over again until they just have such an advantage that UNF can't even respond anymore. This has been the pattern that they've had since the beginning of the game, and it's just getting worse and worse. I mean, like, look at where this Fizz is at any given time.
And Fizz able to troll pull away from Mike Beestum on that paranoia. Able to get away, takes a tiny bit of damage from it, but putting that pressure on that bot lane as well. A lot of split pressure, honestly, from Team with No Name, as they know they have advantages everywhere.
100%. It's no longer their jungle. They're pushed back to their base. Like, the vice is tightening around UNF, where they have less and less agency in their own game. It's hard to see outs for them because, like, they're not at Soul Point. I don't think that they can take Baron without a Team with No Name just destroying them. So here we are. Oh, I am noticing, I think he's had this for a little bit, but I'm just noticing it right now. That is a Majai's purchase for the Fizz.
Yes.
I believe they only need 10 stacks to get the movement speed, so.
So 10 stacks, you know, Dark Seal at max stacks into Majai's, you've got the movement speed bonus. Stacks up another 20, I believe. And that is Dragon going down for the side of Team with No Name there. Mundo having his passive popped by Nick as he gets the ultimate on there. Mike Beestum almost able to follow, but Mundo, he has enough hit points that he just doesn't care. Nick's not doing enough damage to Mundo yet. We do have a teleport coming in from Mypobe to support that, and Sulcratic coming in from behind. Nick going down to Mypobe there, and Mike Beestum being collapsed on by the rest of the team. They're going to set up for Baron here, as there's nobody else that can honestly contest it.
And a really well played moment too to be able to take them out like they do. It feels like UNF doesn't realize that they're no longer in laning phase to be able to have someone like Warwick caught out so hard, but a Baron is possibly going to spell the end here, as it only takes like 1 or 2 turrets to pop to be able to expose the entire base. We've already seen it where they've been threatening those turrets for a while, but they could honestly do like a 0-4-1 or a 1-3-1 and just whittle down these turrets. They don't need to engage on UNF's terms. They can shoot the terms themselves.
Although honestly, to UNF's credit, they did almost take down 2 turrets for objective bounties right there.
Sure, but you know, not
almost
enough.
Only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and atomic warfare.
Exactly. 12,000 gold difference is going to be just too much. Oh my goodness.
Mike Beestum finding a Mundo in the bush, hoping to get away, is able to smite the Grump to secure that jungle, but only able to do so much against a Mundo pushing in a Baron empowered wave.
Yeah, and that turret is already hurt quite a bit, so clong, it's gone.
Mundo comes in, 2 shots the turret. Able to take a little bit of damage. Mike Beestum ults in onto Mundo. Is not able to secure the crowd control with him, but Nick is able to fear Mundo following up. Mike Beestum going down because Mundo is so strong with his AD ratios from hit points. And Tan-I getting hit by the Seraphine ult, followed up with Flag and Drag. Nick going down next. The Nexus is falling to Mypobe and Sulcratic as the game goes to Team with No Name.